data from multiple tables. Sometimes it's a jumbled puzzle, other times it's a masterpiece waiting to happen. The secret ingredient is union and union all in SQL Server. Hello everyone. Welcome to another exciting video. Today, we are uncovering the magic of combining data sets like a pro. Whether you are pulling reports, creating views, or just curious about SQL, this session will transform how you look at your queries. In this video, we will start with basics, what union and union all really mean. Then we will move to on demos and practical examples so you can see them in action. Plus, I will share some real-time scenarios where they make life so much easier. And don't miss the bonus at the end, top 10 interview questions on union that you must know to ace your next SQL interview. Ready? So let's dive in. Let's define union first. Union, we also call it union operator, which is used to combine results of two or more select queries. And finally, return a single data set with this query. And the data set has unique rows, no repeating rows. This is mainly used when you need data to be consolidated from multiple sources, and mainly if data is having the same nature of values, and also ensures that no duplicate record that comes in. We have another version of union is also called as union all, and there is one point that union all differs from union is that doesn't take care of duplicate records. We will be talking in both of these in details in this session. Let's go and deep dive into this concept first. So I have one table. This table is holding the records of employees working in UK, and this again another table. This stores the report and records of employees working in USA. The one thing to be noticed here is both the tables have similar data. This has employee ID, employee name, and country and the country. All these three columns are having similar data and a similar type also. These two tables belong to a same organization. For example, the organization name is XYZ. XYZ organization has two geographical locations wherein they store data at two geographical locations. And there is a requirement that they want to combine this data together. They want to create a single data source out of this data. So one thing they can do is that they can create a union between these two. And the results can be seen like this. You see, this is union of both the tables. It is pulling data from both the tables and creating a single source of data out here. This is one example which I wanted to share with you. I'm going to talk about many real-time use cases of union now. The first is consolidation of employee data across the region. So we have already seen in previous snap that a company has two tables storing details of two different regions, USA and UK. And they want to combine these two, and they can use union out here. Let's go and explore the second example. The second example is there is a retail business, and this retail business has got sales at two different modes. The one is online sale and the other is offline sale. The offline sales are taking place in stores, whereas the online sales are on e-commerce websites. So they have data at two places. This is online places data and this is offline data. Both the tables have similar data. This has product ID, product name, and quantity sold. The only difference is they are at two places. This particular company, the retail business owner, is now in requirement of combining these two. So what they can do is they can place a union between these two, and the resultant data can look like this one. So this is a second use case or second real-time example of utilization or uses of union in real-time life. Let's go and explore the third example. The third example is combining historical and current data. Let's say there is a finance team that manages historical and current data both. So there are a couple of sales that were taking place earlier, some transactions which have taken place earlier, and some transactions which have taken place very recently. So this way there are two tables. One is the current transaction table and the other is historical transaction table. Historical transaction table holds old data, whereas the current transaction table holds the recent data. This company wants to combine both these. They can utilize union facilities or union operator to combine these two tables and produce a single source of data out here. So you notice here is that These both got combined and we have a single source here. We can visualize this data and utilize it at one place. This is the third example. Let's go and explore another example. The another example is there is a company which is having its employees data at two different places. They are having data in CRM and at the same time they are also having data in ERP. So let's say they are having this data in CRM and this data in ERP. You notice here is that both the tables have similar data, user ID, username and email, user ID, username and email. Obviously they are having the same type of data and they want to consolidate these two data at one place. So they can use union between these two, and here is the resultant data. We have seen all four examples, and these four examples pretty well explain why do we need union. Let's go and try to understand how can we write union out there. For union, you have to write the first select statement, and then there is a keyword called union, UNION, and then there is a second select keyword, second select statement. You notice one thing is that both the select statements have similar type of fields. So they need to have similar type of fields. Similar means exactly similar. That means if it is employee type ID of integer type, this is also integer type, employee name, country, and the country. Okay. If you are changing the name, then you are actually changing the sequence or changing the order, then you are actually losing the actual feature of union, then you are not utilizing the union. The main purpose of union is that you have two data sources and you are going to create a single data source out of these two. So first select statement, union, second select statement, having the same sequence of fields, same type of fields. Make sense? This is how we write union. Let's go and try to see these things in action. I'm going to take you to the SQL Server Management Studio. I am in SQL Server Management Studio and I have some scripts written for you, which I wanted to show you quickly. So I'm going to create an employee USA table where an employee ID, employee name and country are there. And then I'm going to again create employee UK table, which is employee ID, employee name and country are there. So let's go create these both the tables. Both the tables got created. And then I'm going to fill in some data into these tables. So let's execute these two insert statements. Both the insert statement got executed. Now these tables have got some data. You see the data is there. This is the first table which we saw, which is of UK table and then USA table. Make sense? So what is the requirement? The requirement is we have to combine these two to produce a single source of data. And that's where union comes in. So you have seen that I'm writing select employee ID, employee name, country from employee USA, and then union employee ID, employee name, country from employee UK. And then you see that this is producing the union of these two tables. And here is the single data of combining these two. Make sense? Perfect. Let's go and see another example. The other example is online sales and offline sales. Obviously, they have the similar data. So let's create these two tables, online sales and offline sales tables together. Selecting this script and hitting the execute button, these two tables got created. Let's fill some data into these tables. Data have been filled in. Now 3 rows in both of the tables, now 6 rows. And let's go and visualize the data. Right? So you see that these data, 1001 laptops, quantity 100, 1002 mobile phones, quantity 300, 1003 printer 250. And likewise 1001 laptops is there, but the quantity is 40. This is in offline. There was laptops offline also sold. Some mobiles were also offline sold, but the quantity is less. So what I want to combine these all. I want to just create a single source of data, and that's where I have used union here. Make sense? Let's go and see another example. The another example is of current transaction and historical transaction. Obviously, we have transaction ID, transaction date, and amount. So let's go and create these two tables. These two tables got created, and now let's insert data into these tables. Data got inserted, and let's visualize with this example of union. You see this table gets the union producing the combining these data of these two. Make sense? Let's go and do the last example with CRM users and ERP users. So obviously user ID, username and email are the three values. So let's go and create these two tables. Got created. Inserting the record to these two tables. Got inserted. And then let's visualize these two things. So you see this is the first tuple, Dino Jason, Ronnie Simon, Raj Karan, and then this is the union that has produced data to us. It has given results to us. Make sense? What I'm going to explain you is the conditions which are very much required when you are going to write union. Condition number 1. All select queries must return the same number of columns. So it is not possible that the first, you know that a union has two select queries. So this is the first select query and this is the second select query. So it's not possible that you will have few less fields here in the first select query and more number of fields in second select query. This is the first condition. Hope this is clear. Compatibility of data. Columns and corresponding positions must have compatible data. So, I mean, if you are selecting the first select, if it is having integer, the first column as integer type, then the second select also, which is written after union, should have the integer type with the first column. So it should not be different. Column names and order. Column must appear in the same order. That is one thing. Order by, if you want to write, it will be written at the end of the union. And default duplicate elimination, union removes duplicates automatically. So these are all conditions for union. Let's see this all in action in the SQL Server Management Studio. I'm back in SQL Server Management Studio, and let's go and create two tables, employee USA and employee UK. Two tables got created, and then let's insert some data into this. Data got inserted. All right. So if you want, you can see the data here. Let's say select all from employees UK and select all from employees USA. So you see the data of these two tables. Data is seen here. Both the tables are having data. Now what I'm trying to do is, let's find the union to this. So while finding union, what I'm trying to do is, in first select query, I'm missing one field. I'm writing a less number of fields. Like actually there are three fields: employee ID, employee name and country. But in first select, I am missing that and just trying to execute this union. Let's see, this should give us some error. So yes, this gives us error, and the error is all queries combining using union, intersect or except operator must have an equal number of expressions in their target list. So intersects and except I am not talking today, but union, when you are using, you need to have same number of, so let's say if you have typed country, and this should work for you. Make sense? So this is the condition which I talked, which is now clear to you. Second is order of column. So let's say I'm changing the order of column. In this, first is employee ID, but here the first is country. And one more thing that you notice is employee ID having of integer type of data and country is having a worker of type of data. So this is not possible. Once you go and try to union it, it will give you the error. Conversion failed when converting the worker value USA to the data type integer. Make sense? There is one issue here. Let's say if you are let's say using union. So let's say employee ID is there, country, instead of country is the worker type and the employee name is worker type. Fortunately, both are having the same data type, right? And if you are trying to do union of it, so you know that here it should be employee name, but here I'm putting country, here I'm putting employee name. So does it give an error or it executes? So please note that even if you have a different field, but their type is similar, so it will execute, although the resultant data is not meaningful for you. So let's say it executes, and see that this is a mix of country and person, country, person, right? So while writing union, you be careful that even if you have a different field, if by chance their type is matching, so union will execute successfully. Let's go and try to understand union all. The difference between union and union all. Union eliminates duplicate records by performing distinct operation, whereas the union all includes all rows, which includes duplicates. which makes it faster. So since there is no extra overhead to discard the duplicate records, and that's the reason union all will be faster. But obviously the resultant data that you will get will have duplicate records. So for example, you have a product name, quantity sold. So you see that one thing is repeated here. In the second table is 1003 printer, 250 is repeated. So if I'm finding the union all of this, you see that printer is coming 2 times. Even if they have exactly the same data, they are not discarded. They are not, duplicate is not eliminated. So, but if I could have used union here, this could have been eliminated out there. So let's see this union all in action. I'm going to create 2 tables, the product online sale and offline sales. 2 tables got created, and this time I'm going to insert. Let's see, here is the printer 1003, both tables have the same data. So inserted, and now let's go and find the union all of it. So you see that this gives me the printer 2 times here. So if you have union all, then it will not discard, it will not eliminate the duplicate records. Right? Top 10 interview questions based on union or union all. The first is, what is the difference between union and union all? I think you are much aware of this fact now. No need to discuss it again. We have already talked about it. Second is, what are the requirements for using union operator in SQL? There are a couple of requirements which I already have covered in today's session. That the field should be in the same number of fields, type should be same, and sequence and all that you need to maintain. When would you prefer union over union all? Obviously, once you don't need any duplicate data, then you prefer union. How does union handle columns aliases in the final result? This is one important thing. If you are writing a union between the 2 tables, the one section comes before union, and after the other section comes after. There are 2 select statements you write. One is before the union and one is after the union. So if you write whatever aliases to the first section of a select, that will be taken care of. That will be considered as the final result. Make sense? Write a query using combined data from 2 tables and removes obviously union. Can you order by? Yes at the end. What happens if the column is selected? The statement query have different data types. This will give you the error. What are the performance implication of union versus union all? Obviously union all is faster because it doesn't have to do discarding of duplicate records. How would you detect duplicate rows in union all? We can write and we can create a having, and then we can count of having if it's greater than 1. So that way we can check the duplicate records. What are the common errors when using union? So yeah, if you have a different data type in the sequence, then it will give you the error. If you have let's say 1 column missing, then it will give you the error, which I have already demonstrated in today's session. I hope that the concept of union and union all which I have discussed with you is pretty much clear. If you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more high quality technical content, and also hit that bell icon so that you will get the future notifications. Drop your questions in the comment and I'll be happy to answer them. So see you in the next